Hello, I'm Steve Withers, an attorney with the law firm of Coogan Smith in Attleboro, and we're here today to talk about estate planning, and specifically to talk about revocable trusts. Revocable trusts are often thought of as a document to be used by the wealthy, a way to avoid estate taxes, and also as a vehicle through which to park your assets. That is true to a certain extent. However, revocable trusts are also a document that should be utilized by a wide variety of people in a wide variety of situations. Revocable trusts allow you to put forth specific, detailed provisions for the benefit of your loved ones, and also allow you to do that outside of the court oversight and outside of the public eye. For these reasons, revocable trusts can be extremely valuable to persons with minor children, young adult children, children of beneficiaries with special needs, people in second or subsequent marriages, and also with those persons who do have estate tax planning concerns. Before we get into the specifics of why a revocable trust might be beneficial for you, it is important to understand as well what a revocable trust is. A revocable trust is a document through which you set forth a detailed set of provisions for how you want your assets to pass when something is to happen to you, whether it be death, disability, or reaching a certain age. You appoint a trustee, who is either a person you're close to or a financial or legal institution that is given the responsibility of administering and managing the assets for the benefit of your beneficiaries pursuant to the specific provisions you set forth. So it allows you to have your assets pass pursuant exactly to your wishes. And it does this, as I mentioned before, outside of the public eye. It is not a public document like a will, and also outside of automatic court oversight. Therefore, not requiring lengthy and detailed court filings, filing fees and legal costs, and judicial opinion and oversight of trustees' actions. For these reasons, it's often very beneficial to families, both wealthy and with less means, to use a revocable trust in order to have their wishes and hopes carried out. So the next question would be, why should we have revocable trusts in our estate plan? One, the most common reason that many people would use a revocable trust actually is if they have minor children or young adult children or beneficiaries. For instance, you may have a child or a niece or nephew or a grandchild you want to leave assets to. However, that beneficiary may be 10 years old, 15 years old, even 20 to 25 years old. You might not want him or her to take a large chunk of money into his or her own name at that time, because they're either too young to legally hold on to that money, or they're simply too immature at that young adult age to handle such a large chunk of money. What a revocable trust allows you to do is keep that asset in the trust until they reach a certain age, be it 25, 28, 30. Again, the choice is yours. The trustee manages those funds for the beneficiary, distributes the principal and income to him or her as needed, and then when that beneficiary reaches the age when you decide they're able to properly handle the funds, the trustee will distribute that outright to him or her. Another more common reason for a revocable trust these days is a situation where a beneficiary may have a special need and may be receiving some sort of government benefits. With many government benefits such as SSI and SSDI, some are what are called means tested, which means that if the beneficiary is receiving these benefits and were to come into an inheritance, no matter how small, he or she could lose or have the threat of losing their government benefits, which would be devastating for their future. What the Supplemental Needs Trust would do would order the trustee to use those funds for his or her benefit, but not to use them in a way that would threaten the government benefits from continuing to benefit your child or loved one who's receiving these important government benefits. So again, a very important reason to use a revocable trust, even if we're not talking about a rather large estate or a taxable estate. And finally, as we mentioned before, revocable trusts are a valuable tool to plan against estate taxes, to defer them as long as possible, and also to eliminate them to the extent possible. This is a concern of larger estates, but again, it's important to remember that in Massachusetts, the threshold asset limit is $1 million. So, when you're talking about a home and possibly a second home, you start to reach that level a lot quicker than you may imagine, and a revocable trust allows you to put forth provisions that would eliminate those estate taxes to the extent possible.